Hi guys, it's Bella and welcome to Lockdown Life. Are we enjoying ourselves? No. But are we staying positive? This is what we've got to do, and it's really hard. It's really hard because this is so awful. I mean, it is awful. Nobody, you can't, there isn't a bright side. It's awful. This is awful. But individually, we have to stay positive because otherwise it will bring us down in more ways than one. I mean, you put the news and you see how many people are losing their lives, and it's tragic. It's tragic. And a little one now, 13. It's unbelievable. And I know nothing we'd ever thought we'd see in our lifetime. And in England now, they've cast it as a war situation, like we would be acting as if there was a world war, and we haven't lived like this since World War II. So, of course, it's more serious than anything I ever thought I'd see. But it is important for us, with our heart going out to those that have suffered loss. It is important for us to try and stay positive. How do I manage to try and stay positive? I'm not saying I'm positive all the time, because I don't think anybody could be with this going on. But the way I try to stay positive, this is what I do. I try to watch the news a couple of times a day. In the morning, first thing, I have LBC radio on, and they're great. I mean, I love the way they put the news across, and it's, I love it. They do very broad spectrum, and I like it very, very much. So I put that on in the morning. At 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I have the Prime Minister. Our Prime Minister gives a speech. Well, it's not the Prime Minister at the moment because he's actually locked down in with the coronavirus. But it's the Parliament. Our Parliament give a speech to give us the latest updates of what's going on in the country. So I put that on, and then when I go to bed at night, I put LBC on for a little while to hear the sort of updates last thing at night. But apart from that, I try to do other things. Obviously, it's all the telly, all the radio, everything. Of course it is. Of course it is. That's understandable. But if we only listen to that all day long, it will pull us down. And everything that's happening is down enough, isn't it? But I would suggest, and this is just like I always say, just my idea, I would suggest that we try to concentrate on other things as well, making sure obviously that our loved ones and our families are safe. Now, if you've got someone who's fighting this, who's ill with this, I don't mean forget about that. I don't. I'm talking about people that are in the situation, same as me and Baz now. We're just locked down in this little flat, we're locked down here, don't see anybody, it's quite remote. All my family are well, all my loved ones are well. So in this situation, I'm saying, not if it was my family that were, sick, then I wouldn't feel like, I'm sure, like I do now. But if you're in our situation, please God, and everybody in your family and your loved ones and yourself are well, try not to concentrate on it all day long. Obviously, there's not a terrible lot we can do. Particularly, I mean, I do things in the house all the time. I'm quite house proud. So if I was at home, there's 1,001 things I could do. But I'm not at home. So I'm pretty restricted to what I could do. Our friend whose flat we were staying in, we were on the telephone to them yesterday. I said, he said, what are you managing to do? I said, I washed all your kitchen cupboards out today. Oh, thank Thank you very much. They needed it. Because it's just, you've got to do something. You have to do something. And, you know, he was a guy on his own. He's lived with his girlfriend now, but he's a guy on his own. And, you know. So anyway, I just tidied it a bit for him. And he was supposed to be, Baz and our friend was supposed to have a fishing holiday this week. They were supposed to go away on a boys' fishing trip because they both love fishing. So they were going to have a boys' week holiday. But obviously that's all been cancelled. But you try to find things to do and try to be positive. And listen to things that, you know, that can sort of feed your mind as well. What have I been thinking about? I've been thinking about how long is my foundation going to last? Oh dear. Hey, have I got enough moisturiser now? There's another note, guys. Indoors all the time. This is just my suggestion again. I always say that. It's just my suggestion. I've stopped using hyaluronic acid at the moment because we're indoors, going out. We just go for a walk once a day that we're allowed. We're indoors, and the central heating's on because it's still cold here, so it's very, very drying. Now, we know how hyaluronic acid works. It draws in moisture 1,000 times its own weight. I think we all know about hyaluronic acid. But it draws moisture from where you can get it. So if there's not moisture in the air, and it's like it is now, it's quite dry and the central heating's on, so the air's quite dry, it will draw the other way. It will draw moisture out of your skin. So at the moment, I'm not using hyaluronic acid. I'm just using moisturisers and oils and serums and, you know, doing my best to look after myself that way. That's another thing I would suggest. I get up in the mornings. It's so easy now not to bother with that. I mean, it's just me, Baz. Nobody's going to see us. Nobody. I try to keep to your normal routine as much as you possibly can, because this isn't normal routine. I understand that. But as much as you possibly can, do the things you would normally do. Now this is easier for us because we're both retired, so we're indoors anyway. But if you know, as much as you can, what you would do in your home, when you're in your home, I would say stick to it as much as you can, which is what we're trying to do. Things that everybody's walking around in face masks. I'm up against the window. Well, when I say everybody, that's the second person I've seen walk past today. Yeah, so stick to your routine as much as you can. What was the other things? I kept thinking, I must tell my friends in the morning that. Does anybody watch the soap operas? If you're in England, you watch the soap operas. I don't watch them all the time. I don't always have the time. But obviously, they're all on, this is a big debate. they're all on lockdown too. So obviously the filming stopped. So there's no filming of our soaps, which is like Coronation Street and Emmerdale and EastEnders. There's no filming. So the thing is, they're all saying when they come back and they start filming again, say it's 6 months' time, how are they going to cover the coronavirus? How are they going to cover it? Because they can't meet in any of the pubs because the pubs are shut. They can't talk in the street because you're not allowed to talk. So you'd have the whole programme focused on the road with two people going, So how are they going to do it? I should imagine that they would have to do it filmed after, so they talk about how it was for them during this time, and I'm so glad you're all right, and you know, how did you manage with this? Because they can't make out they're filming during it, can they? Because it's just, there will be nothing to film, only individual houses. And do you see what we're doing? Do you see what I'm reduced to now? working out what's going to happen in the soap operas. And still really sad, my children are around the corner and I can't see them. But I just know I can sort of look over and I know they're there. But, you know, obviously I wish I could be with them. It's the reason I came down. But I'm so glad Baz is with me, because sometimes, like, you know, I'll come on my own if you can't bring our Tess with us. Obviously, Baz has to stay at home with Tess. So sometimes I'll come. If it's just for a week I'm coming, I can come down on my own. But otherwise, you know, my daughter comes and picks us all up with Tess as well. But I'm just glad it's not one of the times that I come on my own, because honestly, if Baz was up there and I was down here, I would absolutely be broken-hearted. So thank God, you know, that he's with me. Shopping. Are you managing with shopping? We've got a bit of shopping. We've got a bit to last us. But I've mostly bought sort of tins and frozen things, really. I think I said before, because perishables you just can't keep perishables, can you? So we're trying to do things, you know, make food that will last. I'm trying to do like casseroles and things that will last a couple of days. You can put some in the fridge and have it the next day. But we're okay for food, you know, we're okay. How it will go, I don't know. I mean, they're talking about if they crack down even more, it would be army rations. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to dwell on it. If it comes, we'll live it. As long as we're safe and healthy and our families are healthy, we'll live it. It's not going to last forever. It's not going to. If we come through it, please God, we come through it, is the main thing. And if it means that we've just got to eat, you know, very standard food, enough to keep us alive, enough to keep us healthy. If I've got to go without foundation, which is the worst thing. If I was at home, I've got enough foundation for 2 years. I'm not at home, and I've got 2 foundations with me, and I'm thinking how long they're going to last. Isn't that awful to be thinking that at this time? But yeah, if my foundation runs out, so be it, you know. Let's all come out of this healthy and try and keep each other positive. Try and keep each other positive. Now, I wanted to ask a question every day. If you stuck with me this long, I wanted to ask you something every day that I can answer the next day. And today, I want to ask you what you think. In 1980, in the 80s, I liked a particular band group, and I followed them a lot. They're my type of music, and I can sing most of their songs. Very popular. Who do you think my favourite group was in 1980s, 90s, and possibly still now? Who do you think my favourite group was? Let's see if you get it right. See if you know me enough to get it right. And I'll ask you another curious question about myself tomorrow. So let's see who gets that right. Just something for you to think about. Trivial, but, you know, let's try and have a little bit of fun. A little bit of fun. And please, if you put an answer, tell me who your favourite group was too. Around that period, if you was alive. At that time. Okay, guys, so I've rabbited on enough for today. I hope you're all well. I hope you're all safe. And I'm thinking about you all. And I'll speak to you tomorrow again. You don't forget my question. I'll speak to you tomorrow. You take care, guys. Bye.